we are live. Let's see. All right, chat. Just 1 second. Gotta share the links. Here. All right, we are live. Boom. And all right, this is gonna be only for the people on Discord. It's a little bit more intimate. All right, so for the people who were not watching earlier today, I was going over how we had this simple grab of liquidity down here and how that led to a pretty big bounce with even a retest of this 61866. Literally a perfect retest. This has been respected very, very well over the last few trades, let's say, or the last price action. So I would say to simply do an analysis of where we can look for the next long trade and for the next short trade. Let's start with the higher time frame perspective. So of course, as you all know, let's take this out. Let's clean this up a little bit so that you can see this better. So we did put a low back in the 21st of November, which on the weekly time frame, daily time frame looks great. On the 4 hours looks good. As I had mentioned, it is only on the 30 minutes, which I mean still looks okay. As I've gone over many times, this low is all right. We have the wicks and everything. Sorry, this is not the low. This is the low right here. The only thing that I was saying that I did not like about this low is the fact that it was not put during regular trading hours. So this was put in after market closed, talking about the US market. And we did not take the $80,000 psychological. So this sums up the reason why eventually I am looking for a place to take a big short and potentially reverse this whole rise, right? So optimally, what we would like to see is to find a place where to take that big short to eventually do something like this and go towards this area that I have marked down here. That would be the most perfect scenario. However, we have to keep in mind that the more levels we claim, the higher the possibility that this low has been put in. Because when we zoom in, let's take these out for now. Let me also take out these trades. By now you should know that I've taken this long trade and 2 short trades and then this massive long trade which made about $12,000. But anyways, let's take all of these out just to have a very clean perspective. So this is now gone. So as you can see, we did have a very nice bounce at first. And by the way, we did not trade this right here. We didn't trade it. if I don't recall, unless I'm wrong somewhere. But anyways, after this, we started seeing some strength, you know, with the market structure shifting to bullish. And where we did take a long was on a retest right here, right? I don't remember exactly. Oh, this was on the 4 hours. I don't remember if we had even the anchor VWAP. I don't think so. Yeah, we didn't. There was something else here, maybe a daily level. Yeah, it was the daily level. There it is. So on these retests, this is where we had a really nice reaction. And this is where, and I think it was these lows. Yeah, it was exactly this. So it was off of this level being perfectly respected, the daily level being tapped, the candles closing above it, and then on a reclaim of this, we had that big long trade. And then even on the 4 hours, we started to get a market structure shift with a high, a low, and a higher high, and now we are looking for this higher low. So, you know, the more this happens, if we can keep this market structure in a bullish way, we can expect for price to keep moving up and to keep squeezing. Also because we have a lot of short trades that keep opening. So if we go on the order flow, you can see what happened to the... You can see this is what we were trading today. And I have been saying from today's live stream that for a long trade, I want to see this anchor VWAP being reclaimed. However, now I don't really like these lows. So I would probably not be looking for this long trade anymore. I have to do a little bit more of an in-depth analysis, but looking at it quickly, these lows are not looking good. There's probably a lot of liquidity to come and take. So I'm not going to take that. If anything, I will look for a scalp short or a quick short anyways around this area. But anyways, point is, there's a lot of shorts opening, as you can see. All these, this is on this low there was about 15 million shorts. Oh, no, sorry, not here. 8 million, 7 million, so about 15 million shorts here. Here as well, we had 13 million shorts. Here we had 22 million shorts. So, you know, also here we had a lot, I remember, at this low. 15 million and another 15 million. So 30 million shorts here, which obviously have caused the big rise. Another 20 million here. And now we're gathering up more shorts, which is all fuel, which eventually will lead to the price squeeze, right? So the more shorts you get, once these short trades are stuck, they start to buy their positions back and cause this big short squeeze. But anyways, that was just a little recap. My highest target remains this 97. So we can see this as like a range, kind of, right here, right? If you want to make this a bit more advanced, we can take this as a range high, this as a range low. We even have the respect here of the middle of the channel, right here and right here. And optimally, what we would like to see is for a move up here, right? I mean, optimally, we want to first get into a long trade, which I will cover in a second, to take the to then take price action towards higher targets, which is always this 96, 97 that I've been talking about for a while. And by the way, if you get confused or have questions, don't hesitate to use the chat to ask. Anyways, I'm going to be looking for a short up here, and I will tell you why. We have this huge range starting from here all the way to here with this point of control at 96.2. What else do we have? We have a nice little anchor VWAP coming up from all-time high. That will probably take a while, but from this other big pivot, this is lining up almost perfectly. And I think that is it. Yeah, another thing that we do have, this is a bit more advanced. Not everybody's going to understand this. but we have a Fibonacci extension, which is typical for a ABC correction. This comes with Elliott waves, but I'll still show you. So typically the target for an ABC wave looks like this: low to high to low, and we have the 1-to-1 lining up here, and the 1618 actually lining up with another really nice level. But anyways, the theory is typically, as I've explained also in my mentorship and many times in my YouTube channel, that once we reclaim this value area low, we can expect a move up to this 96. So here's how we should play this. The optimal thing would be to get another move down here to these lows, onto, once again, this Fibonacci level, so something like this. We can look for a reclaim of this level, and we can get in our long trade here. You can even put a stop loss below this low, and we can target. This is not going to be a great trade because it's just a 1-to-2, but we'll cover how we can perhaps take this to 105 and eventually 116, which would then turn this trade into a 1-to-6. So it's going to be worth it. But yeah, so for a long trade, I want to see a very simple SFP into here. We also have this lower time frame anchor VWAP. So that would be another nice test. Vic. And then if I'm not wrong, we even have, you guys are not going to be able to see this, but I have this on ExoCharts. If I'm not wrong, there is a, Vic, you're singing. When you can hear this. Nothing, whatever. And it's perfectly lining up with the NPOC. If I'm not wrong, there was an NPOC right here. So, you know, you can get a reaction here. Perhaps we can get a full reversal. So for a long trade, I would definitely be looking at something like this. Of course, as always, we wait for reactions. You should know this by now. So obviously, either you get a long trade like this, you wait for the wick. Let's say the wick is going to be here, and you wait for a little market structure change, and then you take your trade, and then also you can already have a better risk to reward. Or if you want to be safer, you know, you can put it right below this low. I would recommend at first, once you're finding your entry, to keep it a little bit larger like this, and then you can move it down once we can have like a more proper low. And that reduces your risk by quite a lot. So here you would have a 1.3%, for example, or whatever here, whereas down here it would be a 4% stop loss. So anyways, and then what I would do you let us know in the Discord when we should open the position? Yeah, I always send the signals in the Discord. Well, it's not a signal, it's more like I've opened the position myself. And then if we get to the 96, of course, there's going to be profit taking along the way. We could easily like come back here. You know, this could be a range, right? Let me zoom in. We could just be trading this smaller range from high to low to high. So we could once again reject here. That's why we're going to take profit. But optimally, our bigger target is going to be out here at 97 due to what I've covered before. Then 97 will be the most important level where we need to check for a rejection. If we do get a rejection, we can get into a hedge short, potentially to take this all the way back down for a new low. But also, if we do get to 97, and this is why it's going to be good to have this long trade and this short trade, and we can actually take another long trade as well. Because what we could do here is reclaim value area low right here. Price moves above it. Remember that once we reclaim value area low, the target becomes value area high at 118 with the potential to reject at the point of control, which is right here. So what you want to do is take your short trade at the point of control in case we get a rejection. And then we can take another long trade on the retest of the value area low to once again target that possible 116, because right here we could just have a retest. This is starting to be a little bit messy. Let me clean this up. So this we covered. I'm gonna delete this too. So once again, go get these lows, take the long trade, check for a reaction here. If we get a nice reaction, get in the short trade, and then always here as well, a reaction. If this holds up well with the anchor VWAP, the value area low, this is simply a retest. We can look for another long trade here. Perhaps this time we flip this level, and if this level is flipped, we have the room to go potentially all the way up to this 116 target. So we could find something like this. Of course, again, we need to start taking profits at, for example, 105 of this big anchor VWAP from all-time high. But optimally, this becomes the target. And if this doesn't happen, it doesn't matter because we have the short, which is hedging us. So this will protect us, right? In case we lose this value area low and this keeps going down, we lose on the long trade right here, right? This is going to be our loss. But if price keeps dropping, we have this short trade right here. On the other hand, if we have this reversal, we can take profit here or just the long trade. And then if we reverse for a full reversal, we have this long trade, number one, which is printing. And we have this second long trade, which will let it run. This short is going to get stopped out. And these two are going to run for more profit. So you're going to end up like this, right? With no short trade. So yeah, I think this sums it up. I hope everything is clear. This was supposed to be just a very, very quick live stream to show my plan. I think I'll do a YouTube video about it anyways tomorrow or after tomorrow, reassuming all of this. So don't worry if you haven't fully understood it. But yeah, that was pretty much it. So I have these points of interest. I'm gonna just cover this real quick. Gonna make this look a bit better so that it's not so messy. All right, so I'm gonna do just a quick summary. Let's take these out. So first, we want to get into this long trade on the retest of this Fibonacci. Anchor VWAP once again. This would become kind of like a, it's called a 3 drives pattern. Clean these lows, price it to go here, reclaim, take the long trade for our bigger target at, this is an area, right? It's not exactly that. It can be like all the way up to 98, whatever. This is going to be our area of interest for short. Same thing, nice reaction, take the short trade. Then we go back to our 90,000 retest, where once again, you have to, how long did you take you to fully learn how to trade? That's a good question. I've been trading since I was 16. I'm 25 now, so about 9 years. And so here we check again for a bullish reaction. If we get it, we can take the long trade, hoping for this. However, do keep in mind that from the short trade here, we could have a complete reversal. Okay, so optimally we have first long trade into the short, into the long. Okay, this would be the best case scenario. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. Is it a good plan? I think so. Anyways, that is all. I'm gonna stop streaming now. And if you haven't understood, I recommend you rewatch this. And then sorry, let me cover the targets. From this long trade, the first target is gonna be this high right here. I mean, obviously also, like for example, we can take a smaller take profit, once again at 90,000, etc., etc. profitable, I would say last 2 years. Took me a long time. I mean, I was always kind of profitable with spot positions, but with leverage, I would say the last 2 years, 2-3 years, like properly profitable. So yeah, for example, this will be our first take profit on this long trade right here. Then second take profit at these highs. Third take profit here, you can choose whether to go big on the short, and that will be your take profit pretty much. Or if you want to take profit and take the short, then fourth take profit is going to be up here. And then you can let this run to 115. I think once we flip this 105, it's very, very likely we go to 115. So yeah, that's all. And I will see you in the Discord.